Now that you know how easy it is to make things appear inside of a web browser, it's time to learn about markup languages, specifically HTML. HTML is an initialism that stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Now, there's two parts to this, hypertext and markup language. However, we're going to focus on the markup language part first. A markup language is not the same as a programming language. When we use a programming language, we're describing how something should behave. Rather, markup languages are used to annotate and add semantic structure or meaning to a text document. So fundamentally, you can think about a web page in terms of text, with markup added on top. The general concept and term markup evolved from the idea of a book editor or writing instructor marking up a document with a pen or pencil, similar to what you might remember from school. However, HTML isn't intended to suggest corrections to text. Rather, it structures and shapes the text in a way that makes it easier to understand, both for people like you and me, as well as for the software that interprets the markup. As an example, HTML is markup language that is interpreted by a web browser. So let's try an example. Let's look at some normal text, and then we'll figure out how we might mark this up with HTML. This text is describing one of the elements and principles of art, but really, this text could be about anything. You might create a web page about your favorite Shakespeare quotes, how to make pizza, practice and procedure for a work environment, or anything you want. Now let's examine this text. At the top, we have what looks like a header that describes the content of our page. And below it, we have a few paragraphs that go into detail on the subject. However, as is, there's no way for a web browser to determine what part of this text is a header and what parts are paragraphs. We can remedy this situation